Hey guys, what's up? It's Nerdquest Podcast, episode 8. Woo! 8 podcasts. We're almost double digits.
Yeah.
We're almost, what? 5th grade? 5th grade in this podcast?
Woo!
Yeah, so I just want to remind everybody, we're not affiliated with the Nerdquest Indie Movie. We're just, your friendly neighborhood podcast.
Yeah.
Today, it's no guests. It's just Josh and I.
Yeah. And Zorgulon.
And Zorgulon, of course. What podcast would this be without Zorgulon? So today is an episode on a game that Josh and I really love. And it's kind of surprising because the game's 3 years old.
Yeah.
The game's Red Dead Redemption. It's 3 years old, and in video game terms, 3 years is a pretty old game. Because
it's like 70.
Because in that short amount of time, graphics get updated, gameplay mechanics get updated, everything. Better games come out. But there's something about Red Dead, not only for us, but if you go on the online multiplayer and
there are a ton of people online.
It's stood the test of time, and I think it still will.
I think enough people online that you and I just go to a private room.
Yeah,
and do stuff.
I think what's
assholes keep shooting me.
I think it's gonna be sad when the Xbox One comes out, the newest Xbox, and since it doesn't have backward compatibility.
Yeah, they're gonna remaster a bunch of games and repackage them and sell them.
They will, but I think Red Dead will end up being one of those games where it's the 10-year anniversary and its graphics are updated and stuff like that.
And I'm gonna hack mine so it can play at least Fallout 3 backwards.
Yeah, you gotta get an emulator or something. But anyway, yeah. So Red Dead Redemption is a game that, at least for me, it's a game that will probably always be up there in my top favorites.
I'm always going to keep it in my library.
Yeah, it's one of those games where I just can't return it.
Well, then again,
no matter how long I haven't played it.
I never bring games back.
Yeah, but it was hard when I turned my PS3 in because I had not only did I have Red Dead, but I had the physical copy of Undead Nightmare.
Yeah.
And so that I was like, when I was turning my PS3 in for my 360, I'm like, And I don't know why. One of the first games I didn't buy for my 360 was Red Dead.
You bought yours for what? $20? $25?
No, my 360.
Yeah, no, your 360. Yeah,
my 360 I got for free from my friend.
The Red Dead.
The Red Dead I actually got for $13 due to rewards and returns. Anyway, but yeah, it's a game for me at least because I've always had like a connection to the Old West. It's always been an era. It's hands down the era I've always wanted to live in. If there was ever a time I could go back and live, that's where I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
I always picture myself as like some kind of outlaw where, it was feared.
Himself as an outlaw.
That's true, but yeah, you could picture yourself as like a Billy the Kid type of person or like Regulators or something like that. And yeah, it's a good movie.
More Fallout 3.
Young Guns.
Wild West.
But yeah, and so I think what surprised me the most about this game is the fact that we talked about this in previous podcasts. It's a Rockstar game.
Yeah.
But that's not the surprising part. The surprising part is it's a Rockstar game with a story. A good story. And likable characters.
Oh yeah, for everyone, for our audience, my cat Fritz is on my lap, and he's an evil mastermind.
He's flexing his paws right now and contracting his
I'm wearing
paws.
shorts, and he's like, "Oh look, there's a knee."
Yeah, he's kind of clawing at Josh's knee.
Oh,
anyway, back to Red Dead. It was a huge surprise for me. I think that's why I got sucked in even more is because I love the Rockstar industry, and I love the Grand Theft Auto games they pull out, and like even the Midnight Club. I played Midnight Club a lot too, and it's a fun racing game.
My first Rockstar game was Vice City.
Really?
Yeah.
The first Rockstar game I ever bought was Grand Theft Auto 4. No, it was Midnight Club. Grand Theft Auto 4 was the first Grand Theft Auto I bought, and that I was borrowing them from friends. But yeah, I mean, if you know anything about Rockstars, that they're not a story based.
No, they're more
developer.
Of, hey, go rampage.
Yeah, it's more of a sandbox, go just mess shit up.
Which Red Dead has a lot of that.
Red Dead has a lot of that, but it's the fact that Red Dead also has even the side missions, like where there's side missions in Red Dead where you can run into strangers, and you can help them out, and you get journal updates and all this, and throughout the game you meet up with them at random times.
A couple of those really pissed me off.
Yeah. But you can't deny the fact that they're still really good stories.
Oh no, they're great, but they pissed me off because I didn't either I didn't like the person or I didn't know him.
Well, there are side stories in Red Dead that beat the shit out of almost the main story in any Grand Theft Auto.
Oh yeah. Hell, you could just run across the map.
Yeah.
And A, you better pack a few sandwiches because it's a big map. And B, running across the map can beat the stories of Grand Theft Auto most of the time.
We'll get back to the side stories because there's a couple I want to talk about that I love, and that you've probably played a couple of them. But what made you love Red Dead so much?
Well, I love sandbox games. Mm-hmm. Always have, always will. It just gives you this unprecedented amount of freedom. I love the Wild West.
Who doesn't?
I'm a lot like Jake. It's not my number one choice to live in.
I know your number one choice.
What is my number one choice, Jake?
Noir.
Yeah!
Yeah!
But Wild West is like second, but only by a hair. They're almost tied. But also because my dad reads Louis L'Amour stories, and he would tell... I actually learned everything I know about like Butch Cassidy and Sundance and Doc Holliday. I learned almost all that from him.
Those who don't know who Louis L'Amour is, who is he?
He's an author. He's a Western author.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
primarily Western. And I think I've read a couple of them. It was a long time ago, so I don't really remember that well. But I do remember. Really good I do remember they're pretty damn good books.
Yeah. And I've always liked Johnny Cash. Always. Yeah. That's a lot of that thing is he talks about the Wild West in his songs. So I'm like, oh look, Red Dead. What really got me hooked into getting Red Dead though, aside from the fact that I got hooked from the trailers because Wild West going to hunt people down. I like that.
Yeah.
But the thing that really got me hooked back into it was I realized when I actually got my hands on the game that it took place in 1911, which is a significant year for me for a couple reasons.
I believe I could be wrong, but I think on the map it says 1910.
Well, Cat, I'm getting up. I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab my game from my library.
Josh is getting up to get the game.
But I remember very specifically that it said, America, 1911.
Okay.
Because my great-grandmother was born in 1911.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I think mine was born in 1912. Mm-hmm. And she was born in Sweden.
Well, mine was born in Kansas.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of in the heart of it.
Yeah, and she just celebrated her, 100th birthday.
Oh, wow, she's still...
Yeah, she's still kicking.
Oh, wow.
and mentally sound, and yeah.
Should we have her on the podcast sometime?
Anyway. Well, and to me it was, I get to play this so I get to see what America was like when she was born and when she was a child.
She's basically seen...
everything.
All the modern day advancements.
Yeah.
Wow, that's something.
It's just impressive because typical transportation in Red Dead and that time period in general is a horse or a horse-drawn carriage. Now we have cars.
Yeah, and towards the end of the game, when you get into Blackwater, you ride in with the federal marshals. You ride in a car, but there's like
those are few and far between.
I think in total you only see like 3 cars.
Yeah.
And
you can walk outside and look, car. It's kind of mind blowing to think. I have a relative who I can talk to that grew up when there was none of this here.
Yeah, it's the start of that transition.
Yeah,
yeah.
That was really the thing that got me really hooked into it.
Mm-hmm. Now, there was only one Western game I've really ever played before Red Dead. Gun. Did you ever play Gun on the original Xbox?
Once or twice.
That was a good game. That was another game I got addicted to real quick, and it was a lot like Red Dead, where once you beat this main story of Gun, there's not much you can do afterwards. You can go do some side missions, some hunting missions, and mine some gold, and that was like your main form of currency. But I mean, the story was really good. But after you beat the storyline, there really wasn't much to do, and it got boring. But I still have had fun running around and hunting or going and messing up a town.
Drifting horses,
yeah. Weirdest mechanic ever for horse mechanic. And Red Dead has a way better horse mechanic. And smart horses that won't just run off cliffs. You have to physically hit the jump button right before you hit the edge of the cliff.
Yeah, because the horse goes, "You stupid motherfucker."
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it was hard to believe. It was hard to think of a game that would beat Gun for me, and then Red Dead came and fucking blew it apart.
Yeah,
And
with a 6-shooter.
Yes, with a 6-shooter. Or the buffalo rifle.
Yes. Oh, the buffalo rifle.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's how we got started into Red Dead Redemption, and thankfully, you guys, Anons came through again.
Yeah.
We have questions.
We do have questions. They're on a note on my phone, so bear with me a second.
Yeah.
Okay. First question from Anon. These are all Anon. Favorite guns to use in the game? I'm going to add, besides the buffalo rifle.
Yeah, but it's kind of cheap. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with like the basic loadout I have, to where like it's when you pull up the weapon wheel, it's the first gun you're gonna see from me that I have already preloaded. Yeah, and I'm gonna go for my revolver. I normally go with either the double action or the Schofield, because Schofield happens to be one of the most powerful pistols in that game. Right. You can use a high powered pistol, but I never liked it because it was almost like it was a modern day gun.
It was a Mauser.
It was. No. There was high-powered,
and then there's
that had the actual clip and had
it's
ballistics.
Weird. Yeah, it's weird.
Everything, and so it was weird.
It was that gun in Archer.
Yeah, and it was. So I never used that. I didn't like using it. I didn't like using the Mauser because it felt out of place. If it feels out of place, I'm not gonna use it.
It makes sense in the timeline, but it just feels weird to use it.
Yeah.
Then again, that's what most people said about it when it came out. It's like, no!
But, yeah, so I'd go Schofield or double action for the pistols. For the rifle, I normally went with the Evans repeater or the bolt action.
Okay.
And then for the sniper, I'd normally go rolling block. And then I'd go with dynamite, and then I think that's it. No, and then I'd go pump action shotgun. That held 6 rounds.
Right.
That would be my typical loadout.
For me, I am the bolt action rifle and the Evans repeater.
Just because they're so good. Well, the Evans holds
a lot of ammo.
22 rounds.
And it loads it 2 at a time.
Yeah, and it's not the most powerful gun, but I mean, you have that much backup. So.
Yeah. The double action revolver, that's my bread and butter. I mean, yeah, a couple days ago, Jake and I were on lines with my brother, and Jake was running by, and we had a bounty in Armadillo.
Yeah.
And a lawman was coming over to take him down. Just
yeah, Josh kind of saved my ass.
All I hear is, well, whoever just shot that guy off his horse, that was badass.
Yes. There was another funny moment we had in multiplayer when Josh and I first loaded up. I think it was like a week or so ago. We were just standing around, and I'm just sitting there. I think I respawned from a kill, and I like have the camera turned to facing me, and Josh is standing behind my back with a gun pointed at me.
Yeah.
It was a gun or a tomahawk, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just whip
around
and just unload on Josh, and all I hear from Josh on the mic is him just start laughing.
Because it was funny.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I wish we could have recorded that.
But like the other weapons I use are primarily the sawed-off shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I never liked it.
I do, because it's a double barrel, which, but I don't know. There's just something about it that I really like.
It's a badass weapon, but I hate how close you've always had. Like, you have to get closer than the typical shotgun with it, and for it to be powerful and stuff. And that's why I've always liked the pump actions, because you could stay at a pretty good distance and you weren't like getting point blank shot at.
It's my favorite craniectomy tool, though.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you who don't know. Cranial means, head. Ectomy means removal of. So,
so blowing the guy's head off.
Yep. And for throwing weapons, throwing knives. So I like the throwing knives.
Josh is pretty good with the throwing knives.
They're a lot of fun. And I think the rolling block sniper rifle. I mean,
there's another one too.
There's the explosive rifle.
Well, there's the explosive rifle, but there's another sniper rifle. It's the. I'm gonna fuck it up. I'm gonna fuck up saying this. The Kirakin.
Sure, why not?
It's the more powerful sniper rifle. Powerful. I can't talk today. Powerful sniper rifle. Thank you, jackass. But I don't know. I always like the rolling block. It was kind of like it was something I could pick up easy on.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the snipers in that game. I mean,
I'm actually pretty decent with them, surprisingly.
Well, for me, it's like I'll be like, okay, that's where the thing is, and then it's like I'm looking off like a long ways. I'm like, oh, gotta find them again in this scope.
Yeah, that's the thing that kind of pissed me off about the sniper rifles, is that like when you went into zoom and into the scope, it's nowhere near what you're looking.
Yeah.
Half the time you're looking just into the ground.
Yeah.
You got like, oh, shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that covers all the guns.
Yeah.
What's your favorite outfit in the game?
Well, I pre-ordered it.
There's a few.
I pre-ordered it.
Uh-huh.
I love the bounty hunter outfit that comes with it.
Now that's the one with the eye patch, right?
Yup.
And the dead eye meters.
It regenerates.
Extended, or
it regenerates dead eye faster.
Okay. I always like it. Doesn't do anything for your guy. I always just like the duster coat.
It's a duster. It
just makes Marston already looks like a cowboy. And
but then the
old
duster.
School outlaw, and then you throw on the duster, and it just brings back just the more old school looking cowboy.
Like he's a gunslinger.
It just makes him look so much more badass. And I love it too because you always get it when you're with Landon Ricketts.
Yes.
And so, like, you'll be riding with Landon Ricketts, and
it's like two old school gunslingers.
And it looks like a mentor. It technically is a mentor and his protege, but it looks even more like it. Like they're more unified because Landon and Marston, they're not like buddy. They kind of butt heads and like their banter back and forth is like them arguing sometimes. But
hello, Nightly and Batman.
Yeah, but then like they still get along together,
right?
And they still fight. They'll still fight side by side no matter what,
right? Next question from Anonymous.
Okay.
Least favorite character. I think we can agree on this one.
Oh, I don't know. I was thinking about this the other night. I have a couple.
I have a couple, but my least of all is Jack Marston.
Okay, I was going by like people that annoy the most. Jack Marston annoys me the most. I think Reyes annoys me more than Jack.
Reyes is annoying.
Him and DeSanta. I hate DeSanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even more than Dutch.
Are you racist?
Or Bill. Why am I racist? Oh, because I said my two least favorite characters. Shut up. No, it's their personality. Reyes he fights for a good cause, but it's how he treats like Luisa. Luisa's
awesome. I love her.
Luisa's awesome. She's head over heels for Reyes. And she's probably the most loyal follower of Reyes. And Reyes can't even remember her name or what she looks like. And he's drunk half the time. And it's just he annoyed me so much. And I'm like, how can this guy lead a revolution?
The point. From actually,
DeSantis kind of self-explanatory because he's just a douche.
Aside from those, I have one other, and I'm gonna get so much hate on this on the pages. I don't like Seth.
I was never a fan of Seth either.
Just annoys the shit out of me. And you have no idea how many times I tried to shoot him in the stories. Die, damn it!
No, I don't know. Seth kind of annoyed me, but he wasn't that bad. I think out of the people who helped you take Fort Mercer, the one that annoyed me the most was Irish.
Fucking love Irish.
I hated Irish. He always screwed John Marston over.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But I loved him.
I don't know, he annoyed me.
Well,
isn't the way he died, he got shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
That was probably you.
Probably.
Favorite character? Well, okay, I'm going to add the caveat of besides Landon Ricketts.
I'm going to say besides John Marston.
Yeah.
Because that seems like a call out. Bonnie McFarlane. I love
Bonnie.
Bonnie is such just... She's the
she's a character you really do care about.
She does, and I shipped her and John so hard. Even when I met John's wife in the game, I was like, no, I'd rather be with Bonnie. She's just a girl from humble beginnings and from a humble standpoint, and she
is awesome.
She's all around just a good person.
Yeah,
she doesn't stray too far from the path of I won't say righteousness, but good.
Yeah.
And all she wants is she just wants her farm to thrive and for that
she wants what anybody in her position would want.
Yeah. And stuff. And she was just I love doing the missions with her, and because I felt like if it wasn't for Bonnie, John wouldn't have been turned into the person he was towards the end of the game.
Exactly.
His character development wouldn't have progressed as far as it would have unless Bonnie was there to kind of help straighten him out and help show him what being a good, humble rancher is all about. And so I gotta say, Bonnie probably it would. My top three would be John, Landon, and Bonnie, and that's not in order, but that's definitely
my top four. Because honestly, Bonnie is tied with Irish.
Dude, you
Because Irish, I have no real reason to like him, except for I find him hilarious.
I never found him hilarious. I found him annoying as
all
fuck.
The time. I don't know why, but
he's like that kid in class who tries to make the smart ass comments and be funny, and no one laughs, and everyone's just like, dude, just shut up.
I liked him, but I liked him in the way that you would like a pet dog.
I don't know. I've never wanted to kick a pet dog before.
Well, I mean, it's kind of one of those. He tries to screw you over. You kill everybody he sent after you. It's just like, you're cute to think that would work. Pat on the head. I'll even give you a treat. I really don't know why. He's just one of those characters that I was drawn to.
Uh-huh.
But I did like Niles.
Oh, Niles Dickens. I didn't forget about him. He's in the middle for me.
I like him, but I don't like him nearly as much as I like
No. I love this character. I thought he was a great guy and a great character. And
he was not a great guy.
Okay, he was a great character.
Yes, he was.
And I thought he was funnier than Irish because he had that more sophisticated humor.
He did, but I don't know.
We'll butt heads on this all day.
Oh, we will, at least.
But yeah, Bonnie definitely, next to John and Landon, Bonnie's going to be my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the really intriguing question. Would you ride with Marston in reality?
Okay, there's two ways we could take this. Are we taking it as, is he in his outlaw days, or is he in his days of getting his family
Let's
back?
do first one, then the other. Although I think they meant in the days he's trying to go straight, because
I think either way I would, because like I said at the beginning of this, when I said that I wanted to, I've always wanted to live in the Old West era and be like that known outlaw. Kind of says that, like, yeah, I would ride with Marston no matter what. I would love to gain notoriety with them as just this fearful gang of outlaws that you don't want to mess with, and that like they will kill you without even thinking, and all that. And then, yeah, I'd ride with him to help him out and get his family back and just set him back on the right path, on the path to being a good guy.
Whereas, for me, I don't think I'd ride with him as an outlaw.
Yeah.
Just because I've kind of got what my brother calls it a Green Lantern complex.
Okay.
It's hard for me in games. I can be as evil and as horrible and do these messed up things as much as I want, but when it comes to reality or the prospect of it, I just can't do it. I can't bring myself to it.
That's it's funny because I like in real life I refuse to be like a bad person or do like air quote bad thing.
Right.
And that even transfers into games. Like I could never be that renegade who does bad or who like in Knights of the Old Republic.
Unless we're multiplayer on Red Dead.
Yes. That's different. Hear me out. Like I can never do the stuff to give me like dark side points or be that bad person. But for some reason, when it comes to not just Red Dead, but Rockstar games in general, and I think that's the point of Rockstar games is to get that out of you, is to see like just how sadistic you are sometimes. And a Red Dead on multiplayer, I'm an asshole.
I
am a huge asshole.
We know.
Whether you're in a posse with me, I'll shoot you sometimes, or if you're in the middle of like taking out a gang hideout, I'll sit back from the outskirts and I'll just snipe you.
To be fair, most of the time when you shoot me when we're in a posse together, I shoot first.
Yes, in fairness, you do.
I'm kind of trigger happy.
That or I'll get bored and I'll just like shoot your horse and then shoot you as you're trying to get out.
Yeah,
it was really funny. I was on the other night and I was riding around and I was with one of my other friends in online, and we were taking out this gang of like 5 guys, and we kept messing with them. And then finally, after about 15 minutes of that, they sent us a posse invite, and we're confused, like, all right, cool, we'll join. Josh, you already know where this is going.
I think I do.
My friend Jesse and I are in a party, so no one can hear us talking. It's just the two of us. And we're like, all right, let's join the posse. And then Jesse was like, dude, let's just kill him while we're in the posse. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. And so sure enough, that's what we did. And we like it just started off as fun. Like every couple minutes, we'd pick one off just as a joke. And then there was finally this one point where we were all meeting on top of this hill.
And it was a bloodbath, wasn't it?
It wasn't a bloodbath as much of it was a slaughter where I just threw a stick of dynamite and ran.
You do love your Dynamite.
It was funny too because Jesse had just been killed by like a gang or something, so he respawned way away from us, and we're waiting on top of the hill. I'm just like, Dynamite, and booked it. And it's so funny too because as soon as you kill someone on the online multiplayer, it says off to the side, oh, this person killed this person, or this person slaughtered this person. As soon as the Dynamite goes off, like 5 names pop up on the screen. It says, Jict killed this person, this person. And all I hear is my friend Jesse start busting out laughing. He's like, dude, what did you do? I'm like, threw a stick of dynamite, ran.
The other day, when we were on, we were clearing out the Tumbleweed gang hideout. And I had this thing where in the house, I would throw dynamite in there because, clear out most of the people, and it worked usually. And one of those people, I killed my brother by accident. And then I'm like, okay, well, it's time to go. I started rushing in, and then I turn around and I see this tunk, tunk, tunk as dynamite falls down. I'm like, shit.
Wait, was that
that was when you killed me.
Was that when I threw it through the window?
Yes.
Okay, I thought that was the part where I would try to throw it through the door, and I bounced it off the door and came back and blew up in our faces.
No, that was hilarious.
That was hilarious, but it was also funny because I didn't know you were in the house.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, there's like 3 guys upstairs. I'll just chuck it through this upstairs window. All of a sudden, there's like 3 kills. And then Josh died. I'm like, and Josh was like, really? Really? I'm like, my bad!
But back to the topic at hand. When John goes to try to get his family back, I would ride with him because that's something I can actually really get behind. I actually wrote a reason here. I mean, he's got the life of a mercenary or a bounty hunter, which has always appealed to me. And he's got a cause that I can get behind. Because I am rabidly devoted to my family.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, it's just like, and I kind of put myself like, what would happen if the government is threatening my younger brother?
Yeah.
I'd go murder everybody.
Yeah.
And with that mentality, he's basically like, he's got the mentality of a superhero.
Yeah.
In the Wild West, which, if anybody knows me, I love superheroes. Yes. So I'm just like, all right, let's go, John.
But yeah, I think that's what draws people to Red Dead and why people love that game. I would say Red Dead's probably is the most popular Rockstar game.
Yeah, I'd say
Grand Theft Auto is the most popular Rockstar series, but all around overall game, I bet Red Dead's more popular. I think Red Dead's the only Rockstar game that's won Game of the Year. And I don't think LA Noire did. I have the Game of the Year edition, and it's awesome because it comes with all the DLC and everything.
And I think I don't know for sure at all, but do any of the GTA games have multiplayer online?
Yeah, they do. They do.
Like Sandbox?
They're not as fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I know Grand Theft Auto. I think Grand Theft Auto 4 is the first one with online multiplayer. And it's fun. It's kind of fun because you can make it to where your guy's almost invincible, and it takes forever to kill him. So you can go jump off buildings or blow each other up with like bombs and stuff. But it's nowhere near as fun as the Red Dead Online, and there's not nearly as much people. But back to what I was saying about it being popular. I think the main draw of it is because this is the first Rockstar game where people can kind of relate to the story, where it's what lengths would you go to save your family and bring them back, and what would you do? And if you had like staring down the barrel of a gun, would you pull that trigger?
Exactly.
And I mean, obviously John Marston would because of his backstory of him being an outlaw gang. But the thing is, though, is like, what if you weren't? What if you're just a normal person and this thing happened? What would you do? I think people would react a lot like John Marston would. And he would go to whatever lengths he had to, and just to get his family back. And I think one of my favorite things is when you're in Mexico during the game in Mexico. There's a civil unrest. There's like a civil war that's brewing up, and John goes down and he basically flip flops between good and bad. And it's not. He doesn't care about what's going on. He doesn't care about the liberation of Mexico and the rebels taking over.
His family back. That's the only thing.
He's looking for one person. He's looking for Javier Escuela, and so he doesn't care if he's working for Rez or DeSanta. It's whoever can give him the right answers. And after that, he's just out of Mexico. And it's like, okay, you guys do what you want and do what you need. I'm gonna go and hunt this son of a bitch down.
Yeah, exactly.
And
also that single-mindedness really appeals to me.
It kind of shows his one-track mind of that, because there's dual things he's trying to do. He's trying to get he has to get rid of his old gang to get his family back, and so it kind of runs side by side of that. It's about one, getting his family back, and two, getting rid of his past evils.
Yeah.
And that really plays in on the whole redemption part, because on the road to redeem yourself, one thing you got to do is you don't necessarily have to kill anybody who caused those past evils. John Marston does for obvious reasons, but you got to some way cut them out of your life and get rid of them so they cannot pop back up. You got to burn that bridge somehow. And so I think that's just what I loved about John Marston's character and storyline, is that he's like, I will do whatever it takes to get my redemption and to get my family back.
Right.
And it's just overall just a great story, and I loved it so much. What are you watching?
I'm not. It's actually preparation for something else I'm bringing up.
Okay.
In a minute. But yeah, all in all, I mean, people could say that John Marston is like a sociopath. I think it more relates to just his one-track mind regarding his family.
Yeah.
And one of the things I really liked in the game that's very little, but it does a lot to showcase that one-track mind, is the madams. You can walk into an inn and you'll be instantly propositioned by several prostitutes.
Yeah.
And he'll just like, nope, I'm married. Nope, sorry.
That's true. He is, for someone who's an outlaw, and
he has really strict morals.
Yeah, and for someone who didn't live by any kind of law or rules, he is definitely like that. Where there's a complete change from an outlaw you see, where he's polite, and he says,
unless you're Javier Escuela or Irish,
or anybody that tries to fuck him over. But other than that, just to the average person, he minds his P's and Q's. He's just a general nice person. He has great manners.
Yeah.
And everything. And he doesn't come off as the typical dumb cowboy or outlaw.
I think that, because at first I thought, well, that doesn't really jive. That doesn't really fit. But I think that actually happened when he got married. Because...
Well, when you see him in Abigail... I can't believe I'm even questioning myself on this, but I want to say his wife's name is Abigail.
I think it is. I don't know nearly as much about the game as you do.
But yeah, you definitely see it, but it's the fact that his wife... Okay, so she stems from being one of those prostitutes.
Yes.
So back then in that day, you couldn't be a soft... If you were in that profession, you couldn't be soft, and you couldn't. You had to be tough skin, and you had to be able to defend yourself and be basically a hard ass.
Yeah.
And so that comes across when you first meet his wife, and it's funny too. I love the transition, because when you first meet his wife, he's like, "Baby, I'm so glad to see you, and I'm glad I'm home." She's like, "John Marston, you son of a bitch!" And she starts yelling at him and laying into him, and she starts being this just hard ass towards him. And I'm sitting there like, I'm in love with this wife, and it is Abigail. I looked it up real quick.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny, and they have just such a great dynamic as a husband and wife, and I loved watching their conversations and their banter back and forth, because it was always entertaining to watch, and it seemed like that's how a marriage should be, even though it's stemming from an ex-outlaw and a prostitute. But it's just like, yeah, they make it to where their marriage is a partnership.
Yeah. Which, it should be.
What a marriage should be. But yeah, she's a great character. I would say she's underneath Bonnie, because you don't get as much time with Abigail as you do with Bonnie. But also, Bonnie's just like a girl I would see myself falling in love with.
Yeah, I can see it.
Not Abigail. She would beat the shit out of me.
I have a segment I want to start bringing onto the podcast.
Okay.
Mod of the week.
Mod of the week? Oh my god, there's a Red Dead mod you found, isn't there?
No, it's not. It's for another Rockstar game. And it's just, I've been holding on to this mod.
I know what you're
I've been holding on to this mod for probably months. And
do we want to say this for the very end of the podcast, or do we want to? You really want to throw this?
Yeah, it probably should be at the end.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Sorry, I'm excited.
But yeah, so Josh announced this before the podcast. He didn't tell me.
I didn't. I don't plan things.
You have this tendency in the podcast to throw shit in the middle that you should have told me before. Like, for instance, not finishing the fucking game!
Which you did know before our Red Dead podcast.
Oh!
I was wondering when he was going to bring this up.
Oh!
Just go for it.
I can't believe it, man. Really? You love this game so much? You haven't beat it?
I get distracted easily.
Oh! It's... How do you not beat it? Where are you at
Honestly, I have no idea. Because, as you pointed out, 9 times out of 10 when I put it in my Xbox now, I go to multiplayer right away.
You know what we're doing after this? We're not playing Injustice.
Yes,
I'm going to sit here and we'll make you finish the damn game. Alright?
That's not going to happen.
Yes, it is.
It's not going to happen.
It's going to happen.
I'm going to go hide this game.
Anyway, yeah, I was just so frustrated in the last podcast. I could have, we talk about this game so much, and you seem like you know so much, and then you just throw that in the middle of the podcast. Oh, dude.
As you guys can tell, I'm having a ball. And Jake is really frustrated, and I think
Jackass.
I think this is hilarious. I feed from people's frustration and despair.
I know you do. It's just, I guess that's the Zorgulon coming out. But anyway, back to Red Dead.
I thought you were just gonna stop the podcast right there.
Dude, I almost stopped it last week when you said you didn't finish. You haven't beaten the game yet. I was about to be like, all right, we're not gonna podcast anymore until you beat the damn game.
Fix it
now. Oh. You got me so sidetracked now. I can't even remember what I was talking about.
This is beautiful. Okay, sorry guys. This probably isn't nearly as funny to you guys as it is to me.
I gotta say, Red Dead came out with some of the best DLC though that I've played.
Yeah, I liked their take on the undead.
Definitely, I've never. Okay, I love zombies. I love that. The farthest back I've ever thought about was Nazi zombies with Call of Duty World at War.
Right.
I've never thought about how would people react to this happen in the Old West.
And then, boom, Undead Nightmare.
Yeah, and then it kind of answered that question. And okay, have you played Undead Nightmare?
Yes, I've beaten Undead.
Oh my god! Oh! You beat the DLC, but you haven't beat them.
Dude, the four horses.
There's gotta be so much in the deal in Undead Nightmare that you just don't get because it's allusion to the game.
Oh no, I get it.
Okay.
Remember, I don't care about spoilers.
It's been a while since I played Undead Nightmare. I've played it,
and there aren't that many things.
I think I've played through it twice. But I gotta say, Undead Nightmare is probably the best DLC I've ever played. Mainly for the fact that it can be a standalone game.
Yeah,
and it actually
did release it as a standalone game.
as its own copy.
Which is great.
It's not nearly as long as Red Dead Redemption. It's probably maybe half that.
Yeah,
I'd say half the main main story of Red Dead, but it's a great story. Mm-hmm. You rarely see a DLC come out where the story in that is as good as the main story. Because normally with DLC they try to pump it out quick and get it out to there, and so it's a little bit less quality.
It's a little rushed.
And like that, Blood Dragon is probably. I haven't played Blood Dragon for Far Cry,
either.
but I hear I hear it's almost as good as the
Technically,
main
it's
game.
a standalone game.
And yeah, I imagine it actually is because it's in no way related to the main story.
Yeah. You know what we
it's
could
just
do?
got the same name.
After the podcast, we could go down to Freddy's, get some points, and download it.
Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, but no, Undead Nightmare was a great DLC because I love it. Brought two of my favorite things together, which was zombies and Wild West. And like I said, you could tell that Rockstar. It was another thing that surprised me about Rockstar because I've never known Rockstar to take its DLC and throw into such a great story. Like Ballad of Gay Tony was all right for Grand Theft Auto 4. Lost in the Damned, bless you. Lost in the Damned was terrible. I hated Lost in the Damned, and those also came out as two standalone games. But Undead Nightmare blew it out of the water. Undead Nightmare is probably better than Grand Theft Auto 4.
Yeah,
story wise. I mean, it's just I still can't wrap my head around the fact that Red Dead Redemption it's not part of the main flagship series of Rockstar, and it's probably the best game Rockstar's ever put out.
They acquired the Red Dead series from another company.
Yeah, I haven't played Red Dead Revolver.
I haven't either. But honestly, I don't really care.
With the DLC you get in the Game of the Year Red Dead Redemption, you can unlock the online multiplayer characters from Red Dead Revolver, and you can get like the main character and all that.
Right.
But yeah, and so I just wish I just wish Red Dead could pump out more DLC like that.
Yeah,
and stuff. And it sucks that it's kind of come to an end now, and that there's no more bonus content that'll come out for it. I'm hoping for a sequel.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Hoping either for a sequel to Red Dead Redemption or a prequel, because I would love to see the story that led up to Red Dead Redemption.
I'd like for there to be a better cover art guy for Red Dead if there's a sequel.
You didn't like the cover art for it?
He just looks dead.
I liked it. I wish he had his hat on, but I liked it.
I mean, it looks good. I mean, I could not do any better, to be honest. But his eyes, particularly, he looks just dead.
Yeah, but no, I guess it's always been it's going to be a great game, and I'm hoping that it won't take 10 years for them to release like an anniversary edition or HD remake.
Red Dead Redemption.
If Xbox and Microsoft and Rockstar were smart, they'd come out with an updated version for the Xbox One.
Yeah,
maybe with another DLC. Or maybe a better character to play.
What about Fable Anniversary?
Maybe a better character to play after the storyline than Jack Marston.
Oh, God. I think that's the main reason I don't like him so much, because you're stuck with him.
Yeah. Like, you could turn mute on if you want to, and just not listen to him.
Yeah.
And stuff, but yeah, he's just so subpar compared to John and his father. But I think that kind of stems from the fact that John was never really in Jack's life. Yeah. And so, I mean, John really started coming into play towards the end of John's life before he died.
Yeah.
And you only got a couple missions with Jack, but the cool thing about those missions is that it was about teaching Jack to become a man and showing him what it takes to be a man and all that.
Right.
And so that was like the last real like touching note you see of John Marston.
Yes.
Is the fact that he realized that. I think what John Marston realized with his son is that fact that after all he went through to get his son back, there's a chance that he may not have a lot of time left with the son, and that any day that can end. And sure enough, it does. But and so it's just it really brings the whole redemption thing full circle. Not he didn't just redeem himself as a man getting his family back, but he also redeemed himself as a father.
Yeah,
and just. Those few missions were actually kind of touchy missions, just to see that father-son bonding, and just to see all that and all that character development come full circle and come full play. It's like I feel like that's where John Marston's character development was all coming up to.
Right.
It really I mean, it peaked somewhere in the middle. It probably peaked more when he found his family towards the end, and it plateaued with his son, and probably went up a little bit more, and then you could really see the development, really how far it came by the time you were with Jack.
Yeah, sounds about right. Another reason I think is because he's not John. I mean, I think everyone just feels betrayed by the fact that he's not John
Marston. Yeah, because with typical Rockstar games, you can after the main storyline, you come back as the main character, you can play with them more. This is like the first one where you don't.
Psych!
This is the first one where you don't. Even with L.A. Noire, I mean, the main character dies at the end too, but they don't really have it as a point where you can you start up in a free world. You can kind of choose what division you want to do.
They have a weird setup.
It was a weird setup for L.A. Noirs after the main story. But yeah, it was kind of betraying. I'll admit. I'll agree with that. But so you want to do mod of the week? Real quick?
I do want to do mod of the week.
I think we're going to close this out.
Sounds good. This is a Grand Theft Auto 4 mod, and it's what I've been hanging on to for some time.
We'll link it or show it in the video.
I don't know if that's actually legal, but
is it, you getting it from YouTube?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's legal.
All right. It's an Iron Man mod.
Okay.
Because people got bored of running around as a normal person who doesn't have missiles or jets or anything. Right. So there's actually I've seen it used before. I've never used it myself, although now I need to get a better computer so I can.
Before you continue, I'm just gonna give next week is, because for the people listening who don't want to hear about the mod, they can go in after this. But next week is, as usual, second week of every month. is a podcast. Podcast number 3. We got a couple people in mind that we're not gonna name names or drop anything because we haven't decided who yet.
We haven't even asked them.
But we have a couple friends in mind to guest star on it, so it should be fun. It should be another great podcast because
our Potter ones are always very philosophical.
Yes, our Potter ones are philosophical and they
showcase our intellect.
Our intellect, and we normally have when we have maximum guests, so we get even more great content.
True.
And so next week is a Pottercast. Be prepared; it's gonna be fun. Look for it Monday or Tuesday, probably Tuesday because I think I work on Monday. So
we'll work around your schedule.
Well, yeah. But next week, Pottercast.
All right.
For those of you leaving right now, bye.
So, yes. They gone?
Okay.
Good.
Okay, good. Mod of the week.
Mod of the week, yes. It's an Iron Man Grand Theft Auto 4 mod. Now, it's had some weird mods in the past. Like, there was one mod where R2-D2 destroys Liberty City.
I think I've seen that one. I've also seen Pooh Bear.
Yeah.
And I think my favorite one I saw was Woody from Toy Story.
Yeah. But in this case, it's kind of honestly, it's probably the best Iron Man game that I've ever seen because I've played the Iron Man game and it was
which is kind of sad seeing how it's not the actual game; it's just a mod.
I've played the actual game of Iron Man. It's shit.
Oh, that sucks. But that goes back to
superheroes and video games.
Do
you think Iron Man would be the easiest one to do?
Superheroes have a very bad track record with video games. Anyway, back to
yes. The video shows Iron Man flying around the city, smashing into buildings. He, blows up police cars with his repulsors. It's basically Iron Man flying around the city being a dick. And you actually it's in the wardrobe, and you get to choose which armor you want to use.
Can you choose different suits?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You can choose, like, the OG one he built in the cave. You can choose, like, there's the comic book classic one. There's all of them up to and including the most recent armor from Iron Man 2, actually, not 3, because it was released before
We'll put the link to this video in the description. I know I'm pretty sure it's legal since it's on YouTube. And
I'll let you deal with that.
Okay.
And some of my favorite things, the video has no sound, so that's not your computer just not working. It has no sound because a modder said, hey, I provided the sound, and I'd really like this to not be on YouTube. So, they didn't. But two of my favorites is just shows Iron Man in the strip club because he can.
Because that's kind of something Tony Stark would do.
Right. The best one though is you see a plane flying by and he goes, "Oh look!" and flies up to it and flies through it, crashing through it and leaving a hole.
Are you serious?
Yes. And he turns back around and goes like 15, 16 times, and you see the plane going. I
can't wait to see this video.
It's brutal and awesome.
Right.
And apparently you can kill people by splatting them with your jets. Just run through them. And it's awesome. And now I actually want a computer, Grand Theft Auto 4 for it, so I can do this mod.
I've always hated how you can't really mod on consoles.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense, at least for the multiplayer aspect.
I know some people can, because some people can mod, or they can mess with the game, because I was on Red Dead last night.
Yeah.
And there was these guys in Chuparosa. Also, I want to make a quick correction. I know. When we first started talking about Landon Ricketts in the last podcast, I said he's in Escalara.
Yeah.
He's in Chuparosa. My bad.
Okay.
I hadn't got to that point in the game yet, and I hadn't remembered. There's so many places in Mexico you can go, so it's confusing. Anyway, there's these two guys in Chuparosa who are invincible.
Oh my god!
And they can one-shot you.
Yeah.
I was sitting there. I had the high-powered pistol. I had it trained on the guy. He was probably 8 yards away from me, and I'm just unloading. And then he just looks at me, throws a knife, dead.
No, I've encountered that glitch, and he was actually playing land grab.
Yes, he was. He was in land grab with Chuparosa.
It's a glitch, and you have to do a certain amount of things that involves travel.
I looked it up.
Yeah.
I looked up. It seems insane.
If you do that, you're a terrible person, and you're going to die.
Like, in all that time you were trying to become invincible, you could have been having more fun. It's stupid when people do that. I hate it when people do that. I'm surprised he wasn't kicked. There was another glitch I had where this guy was literally technically outside of the map. He's on top of one of the mountains.
Oh,
and he was shooting people with a buffalo rifle. Like, top of the mountains.
Oh,
we were in McFarland's ranch. He was getting like, oh, this guy shot you from 2,047 yards away. And I'm like, we finally kicked him. But yeah, I was like, why do people do this?
Because they're horrible. If you do that, go drink some Drano
Yeah.
with an arsenic chaser.
Like, I understand if you want to mod the game if you're playing by yourself. Like, I would love to do the Iron Man mod by myself on Grand Theft Auto, but I wouldn't do it in multiplayer and just go fuck with people because I know that pisses people off.
And for the record, people who want to mod on consoles, I would recommend not doing it.
I know it can mess up your console.
But I know a lot of games. I know you can do this with Grand Theft Auto 4. You can get a USB Xbox controller, plug that in, plug your computer up into a TV,
and play
like a friend of ours has, and just play it through that. And that's probably what I'm going to end up doing.
Basically the same thing.
Yeah, and that's probably what I'm going to end up doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'll be looking forward to playing that. On your TV.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so I think that's gonna wrap it up. Next week,
too.
like I said, Pottercast.
Woo!
Prepared. It's gonna be fun.
Woo! Fun.
I always have fun with the podcast.
Who doesn't?
And my one just got finished.
Yes.
We'll talk about
it's almost finished.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about that next. We'll talk about that on the podcast.
Yes. All right. So
yep.
time to sign out.
Time to sign out.
Peace out.
Bye.